Welcome back to Tao of Twang on Patreon. I'm Dave. We got a rhythm groove today. We're going to be focusing on the rhythm guitar out of that piece, that loop that I just played over. I did a little messing around, just to get warmed up and a couple little licks and stuff in there. And, if we get a backing track of this going, do your thing, do whatever you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to strip this thing down to its component parts and really look at where the groove is. And the way that I've got this set up is, well, here's the loop that I played over at the beginning, and we can use this to just kind of learn the chords real quick, okay? So, see where we are. It's A, C, D, all major. So it starts over here. Okay. So see that you can't help it, right? That's that bounce, and that's where it's at with this. So now pretend we're at band practice. Okay. Well, hey, you know, hold on a second. I'm kind of feeling it, but I need to work out a better, part. I'm not totally locked in with what everybody's doing. So when we're at practice or something, what do we do a lot of times? Like, hey, let's just hear the drums, right? Everybody take a break for a second. Let's just listen to the drums. Okay. Boy, that drummer almost sounds like a machine. It's so tight. Now, start singing it. I'm still waiting because a couple of you aren't singing it. Do it. Okay. If you're singing that, you just like raised your chances of nailing this groove on your guitar by like 100 times or something, right? Because that's total connection with your body, right? So we're not going to give you a lecture on that again today because you've heard it before probably, but that's important. Boom, boom, ba, ba. Okay, I'm not paying as much attention to the second, half of the measure because that's where we're kind of doing our fills, and you can kind of do, you can leave it blank on my. Right, and I'll show you that, but I'm really focused on that boom, ba, ba, okay? And, sometimes it's hard to just kind of grab a hold of that just by watching or listening, right? So here's a diagram, that, is one measure in 4. The loop and the drum track are at 75 beats per minute, by the way, if that helps you kinda get set up with your equipment, whatever you're doing with this material. Um, so if you're not familiar with this kind of counting and stuff, don't run away, don't worry. You know, it'll make sense, a little bit at a time. If you are familiar with this, then perhaps it'll help right away. And so what we've got there is 16. And phonetically, we can count those as 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. So in a measure of 1, 2, 3, 4, we end up with 16 evenly spaced notes. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Okay. So the arrows are really the only other information there, right? So, the downbeat of the measure, right? The kick drum on the drums goes 1 and 2, right? You can hit it twice on the guitar, on the lower strings, or just once. But that 1 and a 2 and 1 and a 2 and, okay? That's just 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and lot of beats just go with the snare, on the 2 and the 4, okay? This one, it has a little push, right? It's 1 E and a 2, 1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and right? And that's an up stroke of your strumming hand, right? 1 E and a 2 E and da, da, 1 E and a 2 E and now on those two chords, I'm just playing them like kind of flat, kind of like which makes the groove even better because when we go back to the groove, we go from that boom bop bop, right? So I really like that feel, and J.J. Cale is another, you know, a kind of understated sort of genius, for this sort of thing, right? It's very subtle. It's very laid back, but that all that stuff's there. If you go just listen to any of those old records by him, the studio records of him, it's just a the examples are just so perfect of this kind of simple way of addressing this sort of thing. So I don't want to make too big of a deal out of that diagram there. I mean, that's the long and the short of it. And like I said, the 3 and the 4, the later part of the measure there, um, you know, just leave that open at first. And if you let your hand get loose and just kind of keep going up and down, 1 and 2 and da, 1 and 2 and da, you'll get it. Now, see, I'm not. You could. 1 and 2 and da. 1 and 2 and da. 4 and 1 and 2 and da. See? So now when we put our drums back on, all right, it's going to come together, man. And it's going to be fun. When you feel it, it'll feel so good. Now, the only other thing is that little, and just where I'm putting that right now, I wouldn't worry so much about trying to count out every E and everything, right? It's just kind of then you get too caught up in it. The important one is that 2 E and da, right? The stuff we just went through. So just in that space that you have left over, and all I'm doing there is hammering from 7 to 9. Okay, kind of like you're going up to a D triad. It's all part of an A riff, but don't worry about if you hit one note there, it's all good. If you hit 2, it's great. 3, 5, it's all good. It's more of the feel of it. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some of that drum beat here at the end of this for you. And then if you want to, I might work on that, doctor up that other track a little bit, when I have time in the next couple days. But if you want, you know, a version of that posted as well, let me know in the comments and I'll put it up or I'll send you a link to it or something, you know. Because once you get this going, then you can start, messing around with your licks and stuff and going back to that groove. And you're there, man. You're ready to take that into band practice and say, hey, I got something for you. All right. Appreciate you. Let me know how this goes. Talk to you next time.